Hey guys, what's happening? Willie here at the Great Outdoors. Still not feeling too great. Still not feeling too great. But it's been driving me crazy that we still have one reel out of that box of reels that Gary sent that we haven't looked at just yet. The Guide 160. Now, the Guide 160, I'm going to tell you right now, I was looking at the schematic just a few minutes ago. If there ever was a reel other than the Model 40 that looks like somebody just grabbed a handful of parts, opened up the cap, threw them in there and screwed it back on again, this guy right here is it. This one you have you got drag, double drag, a drag inside, then you have a drag preset, and then you have your drag button over here, then you have the Accu really quickly here on the Guide 160. Thankfully, Gary sends me with these, with the reels and stuff. He's got the knowledge, got it all sitting there, and he's able to print it off and send it to me so I can pass it on to you guys. Now, we're going to look at the Model 60 or Model 160 Guide. It was made from 1974 to 1976. Drag by actually towing a water skier. I'd like to know what kind of line they used to do that, but the Guide Model 160, this is the closed-face spin casting reel that puts it all together. And hopefully I'll be able to put it all back together. Exclusive. Johnson had a lot of exclusives. Double drag system for added insurance against losing trophy-sized fish. Now I don't know about you guys, I've never really had a problem with losing something I've never caught. Accu cast control for bullseye casting accuracy. Precision ball bearing retrieve for extra smoothness. Okay, so we got a ball bearing bouncing around in there too. Fact is, the new Johnson Guide provides the kind of fishability professional fishermen and serious anglers have been looking for. I would like to go back in time. I'd like to find some history on some professional fishermen and serious anglers using this reel. That would be kind of cool to see. The Guide comes with 360 feet, for some reason they didn't go with yards on this, of 12-pound test monofilament. Standard features include oscillating spool, okay, so we have a level wind system in there, to cross-wind line for smooth casting, diachrome rotor, rugged Teflon coated gears, there's your Teflon coated gears, hardened stainless steel guide, and ceramic line pickup. And it looks as though you could get extra spools if you wanted to buy those. 10, 12, and 15 and 20 pound. Individual spools are factory packed, 6 to a carton. Wow. Recommended rod for this was a 6 to 6.5 foot tubular glass medium tip. And if you go down here, it'll show you, you have two drags, or the pictures here, you got your inside, which drag number 1, factory preset, internal drag control makes it virtually impossible to break your line during retrieve. Adjusts to fit all line weights. Okay, then that's showing it's a finger nut in there that you can twist and turn on the inside. Drag number 2, I'm sorry if this paper is shaking so bad because I'm just shaking so bad, but drag number 2, adjustable star drag, multiple disc function drag, which automatically takes over when the handle is released to let the fish run. Why would I let go of the handle and let the fish run? I don't know. I'm going to give you a quick, just let you see all the parts that are inside that guy. Yeah. Anyway, what we can do is dig into this thing. I'm gonna get you guys down to the table here, and we're gonna dig into it because, like I said, it's been driving me crazy. Got one reel left, and I'm sitting here, so might as well wait out the storm and take apart a Guide 160 and let's see what's inside this thing. And you, in typical Johnson fashion here, you got your cap that you just unscrew off of there. As you can see, we have the Accu cast All right, so next we'll take off the back piece. You have your typical plastic cap, okay? As we've talked about before, be careful with those threads right there when you go to screwing that thing back on. You do not want to cross thread those, otherwise you will have a bad day. There's your AccuCast button with the wonderful target back there, and then you have your switch down there to keep that button locked out. Okay, I see the Teflon coated gears here. The Teflon looks like it's still holding up. There's a nut there, not a, they showed a finger style, like a twist, like a knurled type gear there, but or not gear, but nut. I have a regular nut inside of there. See how much of this thing we can disassemble before I think I've messed up and should have left it in one piece. Aluminum AccuCast nut, rotor, and then you have the swing arm style with the, I think they, what did they say that was? I forgot what they called that darn pin. Ceramic, that was the word I was going for. Then, of course, here you're going to have to unscrew this. It is actually threaded. This is very much like the Sababa 130-A. That's the level wind system. You can see that moving on up in there. There's a C-clip on the spring. Get that off, then I can take the spring off, then I can unscrew the nut off there. Okay, let's just go that route. Oh, there we go. C-clip. There's definitely some ABCs to taking this off, because you got, it looks like you have to take it apart up to the gear, then you have to take the crank gear out. See, we got a nut. Then you have one of these tension washers, you know, the spring-loaded washer style thing going on there. You can pull your drive shaft out and that falls off and goes somewhere. Let's look at this crazy device here real quick. This thing has got a lot of stuff in it. Okay, washer, then our gear. This is supposedly a Teflon coated gear, but I'm gonna be honest with you, that feels like it's just plastic. It's fitted on the bottom, so it has to fit back into this gold washer that we're looking at, which this is all of your fancy secondary drag. We have a hard washer, we have a drag washer, we have another hard washer with the little nubs on each end, which tells you how it fits in there, drag washer. Then another hard washer, and then inside there is the last, that's the last washer, I believe. Let me, oh, come on, there we go. And that is your last washer that is down in there. And what I'm going to do is drop a little oil in between each of these because they're really very dry. And then we will put this washer back in right there, and then we're going to put this one back in there. That's a fitted style, as you can see there, right there. All this stuff is really clean. Drop that back in there. Now this is your fitted, it's got the little nubs, so it's got to go in a certain way because you have the nubs and then you have the holes for the nubs. We'll put that one back on. A little right there. Put that back on. Then our gear goes back on. And then our little fitted washer's got to go back on. And there we go. Okay, and that is back together. And we're going to leave that together sitting right there. Now, this part is very much like the salamander. What we're going to do, man, it's amazing how easy that works. We're still going to do some disassembly here because one, I have a replacement for this. Let's be careful if you own one of these things. The star is plastic, okay? Even though it's chrome, it's plastic. It's not metal. But fortunately, if I'm not mistaken, the 155 has a smaller, that's not metal either, I think that's plastic too. Has a little bit smaller star, and you probably will not break those off near as easily as you will with the one that, stop that, the one that comes on the 160 here. So anyway, let's, you got a countersunk nut here that's very hard to get to, but I'm going to try to get it off with these needle nose pliers here. Now we can take this star off of here. Why are you not coming off? Oh, I see why. To get this off, you're actually loosening your drag so much that everything is coming apart in your hand. So you have to, there you go. Okay, there's that. Now under there you have one of these little spring-loaded washers as well. Then you have another nut. Now you can actually take this shaft out where it looks as though you have your drag washer in there. All right, let's set this down for just a second. You have a washer on the front of that shaft. It's going to stay in there like that. Then you have a drag washer inside there. Let's get that hook, take that out, hit that with a little lubing, put that back in there. We are going to leave that together. That is the Teflon coated gearing. Okay, that is a peculiar looking setup right there. I don't know how that, or what that does. Anyway, there's your crank arm. I don't know if this piece comes off. Yeah, evidently it does. Okay, you got a sleeve, a bushing that goes inside. So it's a good thing that we took that apart, because there's a good possibility that would have probably needed some oil and that kind of thing. Things are coming apart now. Yeah, there we go. There is your bearing. I don't think at this particular time you need to take all of this apart, but I don't think you'd have to take this apart unless it was incredibly bad. You have a C-clip right here that holds all that together. You pop that C-clip off and all of this comes apart. And I'm looking, and all that needs is oil. That's all that's going to need. That is your anti-reverse. This is not dirty. I'm not taking it apart. So your copper washer would come off. Your anti-reverse swing arm would come off. Then this system that's spinning here would really just slide apart. And then you have a copper wire in there that, you know, holds that thing together. And I would say to you, if you do not need to take that apart, don't. This is in good shape, mine's in good shape. If yours is in terrible shape, then I would say take it apart. What we're going to do, throw a little oil down here. We're going to throw a little bit of oil around it and see if it'll seep in there. Yeah, that actually is getting in there pretty good. It's changing its attitude as we speak. All right, what came out of there, this was our level line system right here, which has to go back in this way. Then, as you see, it's a puzzle fit there. You can see that. We'll go back in. All right, we've pivoted. Got it in the right spot. A little oil around that. And now we'll go with a little oil back in here, because now this guy here has to go back in there. This guy here is going to go back in here. Now we're going to go with our crank arm back on again. Then our nut will go back on there. All right, and that is, we're going to be replacing, we're going to put that spring-loaded washer thing there. We're going to be replacing this broken star with this fancy plastic one here. Yep, looks like that screws right down on there. Thank you, Gary, for that replacement part. As a matter of fact, I think it's probably going to look better. Kind of goes with the black decor here with the handle and the little Johnson emblem there in the arm. Then we're going to put our little locking nut back on here. All right, that section is back together again and moving up and down as it should be. Let's get our bottom half put back together here, which means shaft back in and work it around a little bit there. I think that was next, if I'm not mistaken. We have to push that, push the shaft all the way up out of there. Let's put this in here first. Then we'll fit it because it is a D shape. All is good there. Our little spring-loaded copper washer thing here. Then our adjusting nut, which they say comes in a pre-adjusted scenario here, but I don't know what they pre-adjusted as, and I'm just gonna work it on up there to where I think it felt like it did when I took it off. I don't know why this is a nut though, because if it were the actual finger style with the gnarled edges, this would be a lot easier, to be honest with you. All right, now we got to go back with our spring. This is going to be fun, because now I have to compress the spring and get that C-clip. Let's get that C-clip So that way I can grab it with my little nurdle noses. We'll compress this spring, trying very hard not to shoot it across the room. And there it went. Snap that into place. Let go of the spring, and bingo, shabongo, bango, you've got it back together again. Probably should have cleaned that gear out a little bit. It's got some funk in it. We can now screw this. There we go. Got the spool back on. Everything's moving good there. We're going to put a little bit just in the sliding area here. Got the D-shaped thing happening there. Put the AccuCast nut back on. Push it from there. Get our little crescent wrench. We will now put on the bottom half of the cap. And I am going to go to the sink and try to clean up some of that. Looks like some corrosion around the cap there. And just shine this thing up a little bit because it hasn't been cleaned in a while. I'll be right back. I tell you, if you're looking to turn a frown upside down, just go to the sink, get you an SOS pad with the green soap on it, and just go over something, you know, chrome, and even this fancy red. It's just amazing how clean it brings it out. It brings it back. Now don't go too hard on it because you might turn your red pink. But just look at the silver, how it took the spots that have probably been on there for 100 years, and just cleaned it right up. I mean, and that's why I love this part of doing this stuff. Let's go ahead and hit these threads just a little bit, just help that thing catch a little better. And sometimes all you got to do is work it a couple times, and I go backwards till I hear it click, and then just work it down there. Here we are, doing that thing. I know it's just not right seeing me without the hat on, but to be honest with you, my head's killing me. And stuffing that hat on top of it and listening to these ears popping. Every so often it just sounds like a bad ball joint. My ear just goes, and you just go. Hopefully it's getting better. All right, the Guide 160. A lot smoother than it was. That feels a lot better than it did. It's got a little bit of a growl to it. Don't know why, because the gears look great. This is definitely going to be one of those reels I think I might do with a 150 and the Uncle Sam, and take them all out together and possibly throw some big stuff. Now I'm going to tell you, this is a heavy reel. I would almost think this might be heavier than the Sinbad over there. Give our AccuCast a try. Got a lot of AccuCasts to try, but there you go. The Guide 160. Taken apart, put back together, and ready to go. Just got to put some line on it. Man, I'm going to tell you, that's where my expense this year is going to be. Line. These things, you'd be surprised how much line these things take. And you spend a lot of money on line. Guide 160, 1974 to 1976. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for putting up with my not feeling so great. Trying to do the best I can do and get all this stuff taken care of for you guys so you can see what's out there. And that is our last reel. That is our last reel that I have anyway to work on. And man, have we got a lot to fish with. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one. And at this point, I can honestly say, whatever the next one may be. Now, I am going to prepare for the snurricane that we're getting ready to get. That's right, 8 to 12 inches, quite possibly. Of course, around here, it's gonna snow, it'll stick, and in 2 days, it'll be just a melted, nasty mess. People will be driving through it, everybody's cars will be covered in salt and white and funky, and